Welcome back for the second episode, which I think we'll call from now on ReeTV. The first episode last week was an introduction to Elisa Lam, Hotel Cecil, and body language analysis of the elevator CCTV footage released by the LAPD. If you haven't watched it yet, hit watch later on this video and go and watch the first episode. The link is in the description below. A quick summary of this case. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student found dead in a water tank on top of a hotel in downtown LA near the notorious Skid Row. Her corpse was found naked and her clothes were also in the tank near her body. She was found by a hotel maintenance worker on the 19th of February 2013 after reports from guests of problems with the water. She was apparently last seen early hours of the 1st of February 2013. A quick summary of episode 1. We looked at the footage as released by the LAPD, which appears to have been considerably slowed down. 54 seconds of the video was missing and the timestamp had been clearly tampered with. We can see from the analysis of the timestamp that at 12:24:06 the footage jumps to 12:25:00, then freezes multiple times, resulting in losing 54 seconds of the footage. Please see in the description below for the original video analysis and also the first episode of this series. We also analysed Elisa's body language in the CCTV footage once it had been sped up to the correct speed, and the conclusion was that Elisa is playing a game of hide and seek or something similar in this footage. And although at times she displays some anxiety, there is no indication of fear. Elisa's face has also been pixelated in the footage each time she smiles, possibly to make the footage look more sinister. You can find links to the body language analysis in the description below. So again, why would the LAPD release this footage? Why would the LAPD release footage that was so blatantly edited? And what is on the missing 54 seconds of the footage? It's as if they wanted people to spot that it was badly edited. Was this footage released to fuel the paranormal and conspiracy theories to keep people confused? You tell me. Once the footage was sped up to the correct speed, just before a minute and a half into the video, Elisa pressed multiple elevator buttons and then exited the elevator, where she can be seen appearing to have a conversation with someone for around 25 seconds before she disappears out of view of the camera. The fact that the doors were not closing has fueled the paranormal theories. However, just a quick search online and you will find videos of people analysing the elevator buttons. And in fact, after pressing multiple floor buttons, Elisa pressed the door open button. And in this particular lift, after pressing the door open button, the door will stay open for 120 seconds, 2 whole minutes. And once the footage is sped up to the correct speed, you can see the door stays open for 120 seconds. A few seconds later, the timestamp jumps ahead 54 seconds and the elevator door finally closes. Who else was in this video, and why was it important to remove any trace of them? Possibly to protect the identity of an innocent passerby. This is what the LAPD said when confronted with the evidence. And if you believe the LAPD, I highly suggest you getting off the fluoridated water. But let's think about this for a second. Anyone in the video during the 54 seconds that were removed is, in my mind, highly likely to be the person Elisa was messing around with. Her concentration was in the direction to the right of the elevator, and she was stood to the left from the direction that the camera is facing. She disappeared from the camera view to the left, so the person she was talking to would have had to have walked past the elevator if they followed after her or if they left the area together. But let's put a pin in the elevator footage for a moment. I have found an online petition with a few interesting questions. The links are in the description below. It appears to be a live petition, but not sure how long it's been live or until when. It certainly has a couple of important questions. So what they're saying is Elisa Lam's death has been turned into a fantasy horror story by the internet, and it's awfully disrespectful. The LAPD has information regarding the case that should be revealed. Why was the elevator footage altered? Was this done by the police or by the Cecil Hotel? Were the water tanks accessible at the time of death? I.e., was there already a ladder by the tank, or was this placed there post-mortem by a hotel worker? Does the unreleased security video footage better imply an accidental death than the currently available one? Release more security footage. Consent to an interview regarding this case. So I believe the LAPD have attempted to answer some of these questions already. Why was the elevator footage altered? I believe they have stated to protect the identity of an innocent passerby. Were the water tanks accessible at the time of death? In Santiago Lopez's statement to the police, he has stated that the water tank lid was open when he arrived. Does the unreleased security video footage better imply an accidental death than the currently available one? I don't believe it was an accidental death. I believe it was murder. That's if you believe that she ever existed in the first place, and there are a lot of people out there who will argue that she didn't. I found an interesting post by a guy who claims to have stayed at the Stay on Main, the hostel part of the Cecil, from Feb 5th through to the 8th, and claims to have been on the same floor that Elisa was, however, claims to have been in room 406. And from the employee statements, we know that she was on the 5th floor, or they claim she was on the 5th floor. He said accessing the roof was easy. He and his brother went up on the roof on the 5th, and they know they shouldn't have been there. However, it was easy. There was a window that was open on the 15th floor that allowed access to the fire escape, and was just a quick climb up a short ladder, and there they were on the roof. And they know at that point now that they were probably only a few feet from Elisa's body in the tank. He also claims that they didn't experience any strange tasting water or low water pressure from the 5th to the 8th, and elevator 1 was out of service on the 7th and 8th. It was just stuck on the 7th floor. It's probably totally unrelated, but he thought he'd mention it. He also claims to have heard a weird conversation on the 8th of Feb at around 7:30 or 8 a.m. He woke up because of a loud knock on a room across the hall from theirs. He said he did not hear the whole conversation because he was still half asleep, but definitely heard an exchange with a security guard and what appeared to be a female occupant of that room. It seemed like she had called security to her room. I heard the guard ask, "Did you see what direction he went? And did he have a weapon?" Unfortunately, I didn't hear the girl's response clearly. It was a pretty short conversation. It sounded like the guard left and the girl went back to her room. At the time, he didn't think too much of it. We were in a sketchy area, and I wasn't surprised to hear something like that. Looking back, I wish I would have paid a lot more attention. I have no clue if this was related at all, since it was a good 9 days after Elisa disappeared, but it just reinforces that the Cecil is a sketchball spot. Interesting enough experience for sure. He also said that during the whole duration of our stay, we didn't think anything was abnormal. We didn't see any police or reporters at all. We weren't there much though, except to sleep. Also, we were only asked once to see our key card when getting into the elevator one night. I think the key to this case is hidden in the LAPD involvement, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to dig around too much. I value my life. However, what we will do is take a quick look at the LAPD press conference. On the 6th of Feb, 4 days after Elisa was initially reported missing, the LAPD released an official statement online, and then on the 7th of Feb held a press conference. The following footage is a press conference held by the LAPD on the 7th of February, 5 days after she was apparently reported missing. Speaking is Walter Teague of the LAPD, and that is apparently her family stood behind Lieutenant Teague. Now, he may just be very nervous about the fact that there are a lot of reporters there, but this guy literally looks like he's about to cry. And at my first count of his uhs and ums in this very short clip, they total around 33. And yes, I know what some of you will be thinking. 33, hey, suspicious number. But we're not going to go there. Almost every other word was or Is this a sign of deception, or is this guy extremely nervous because he isn't comfortable with speaking in front of that many people? You tell me. What I also think is very interesting is Lieutenant Teague's response when the reporter asks him, "The news release that got us here said she vanished under somewhat suspicious circumstances. What can you say about that?" To which he rambles on a little bit and then touches his face when responding. As far as suspicious circumstances go, it's literally as if he's wiping away his lie. Anyone familiar with statement or body language analysis will have some opinion on that, I'm sure. So let's have a quick look at the LAPD press conference.
Yesterday, we were made aware of robbery homicide of missing persons case, Elisa Lam. She was last seen on the 31st at the Cecil Hotel at 640 South Main Street. She's a Canadian citizen, and the reason that we're investigating this robbery homicide is because we're in connection with Interpol on a regular basis, and any case that involves foreign nationals usually comes to us. So right now we're asking your help. We have a photo. Parents are here. They've flown down from Vancouver, and we're seeking to get this photo out so we can find Elisa. Again, she's been missing since the 31st, and she was down in Los Angeles in our area just basically for leisure, for travel. And we're continuing the investigation now, and we're looking for your help. So with that, that's pretty much all I have as far as details on the case. If you have any questions, I can entertain them now.
Your news release that got us here said that she vanished under somewhat suspicious circumstances. So what can you say about that?
She was in contact with her parents daily, her family, up until the 31st. So it's been 5 days, 6 days now. And as far as suspicious circumstances, nothing other than that, but there's been no communication at all. And that's worried us and worried the family, so we're proceeding with the investigation on that.
She's traveling by herself.
What's that?
She's traveling by herself.
Yes, she was.
And in a place like that, did anybody see her, talk to her, warn her who she was?
The last people to see her were the staff at the hotel, and that's it.
She was actually staying in the police hospital side of the hotel. Stay on Main.
She's at 640 South Main, the Cecil. I don't know anything about a hostel there, but she was staying at that hotel. That's correct. Right.
Any surveillance video showing her coming away?
And we're in the process of investigating that and collecting anything we can in that angle.
What about the use of her credit card?
We're investigating everything, and that including that.
Has anything popped up? That you
And we're very fresh into the investigation, so I don't have an answer on that, not yet.
What point did you guys get involved?
Yesterday afternoon.
Do you know if anybody warned her or talked to her about where she was staying and being there alone as a woman in the Skid Row area?
No, I don't believe she had any idea that that might be a location to be concerned about.
Is that her MO? Did she travel by herself everywhere? She was traveling around, I guess, the country?
No, just recently she was traveling to Southern California on her own. She's 21 years old, and she ended up here at the Cecil Hotel.
Just a couple more times for you there. But Mr. Policeman, why all the focus on this one case when there are hundreds of international people missing in LA?
She's a Canadian citizen, and the reason that we're investigating this robbery homicide is because we're in connection with Interpol on a regular basis, and any case that involves foreign nationals usually comes to us.
Yeah, you're convincing, aren't you?
Herself?
What's that?
She's traveling by herself.
Yes, she was.
And in a place
No matter how hard he tries, he can't hide his contempt. Is that for the reporter or for Elisa?
What's that?
she's traveling by herself.
Yes, she was.
And in a place.
I've had a little look at the LAPD website and they haven't updated it after the initial scaremongering. And the initial CCTV footage released by the LAPD has now been removed, since all of the video analysis proved the footage was tampered with. Too late, LAPD. Once you put it out there, it's out there forever. I think it was supposed to be obvious that it was tampered with anyway. There was also an update with a new picture at some point, since everyone found it strange that Elisa was appearing to not actually exist, I would imagine. Apart from the initial community alert on the 6th of Feb, the LAPD press conference on the 7th of Feb, and the CCTV footage that was released on the 14th of Feb, I can't find very much about this case from the LAPD's perspective. They haven't made very many comments or answered any questions as far as I'm aware. However, I am in the UK and can't access a lot of the mainstream media sites. But just look, she's blatantly smiling. Now let's have a look at the statement from Santiago Lopez, who was the maintenance employee who found Elisa's body in the water tank. I've been employed as a maintenance staff employee at the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel since 2010. On February 19th, 2013, while working at the hotel, I received a notice that the guest in room 320 was complaining of a lack of water pressure. I then went to room 320 and confirmed the lack of water pressure. I next went to room 720, which is serviced by the same water line as 320 to check the water pressure. The water pressure in room 720 was also impaired. I concluded there was likely a problem with the water flow from one of the main water tanks from the roof. There are 2 alarm areas at the hotel. One is a rooftop access door on the 15th floor of the hotel, and the other is a fire escape on the 2nd floor of the hotel. Whenever someone opens the rooftop access door, it activates an alarm which rings very loudly and can be heard all over the 14th and 15th floors, and also rings at the front desk at the 1st floor. The alarm can only be turned off with a key which only maintenance staff possess. On February 19th, 2013, I took one of the 2 elevators to the 15th floor, then proceeded up the stairway to the rooftop access door. The alarm for the rooftop access door appeared to be in proper working order. I deactivated the alarm for the door, then entered the roof and walked to the area where the water tanks for the hotel are located. I then climbed up the platform upon which the water tank sat, and then climbed a ladder up onto the main water tank. I noticed that the hatch to the main water tank was open and looked inside and saw an Asian woman lying face up on the water approximately 12 inches from the top of the tank. After discovering the body, I immediately contacted my supervisor, Pedro Tovar, by walkie-talkie. We then went down to the 1st floor office to advise Amy Price, the general manager, of my discovery and to notify the authorities. After the police arrived, I was interviewed about what I had done in connection with the water pressure situation and the discovery of the body. Previously, when Ms. Lam first was reported missing and the police were conducting their investigation, I had opened guest room doors on 2 floors of the hotel to assist with the investigation. This was my only involvement with the police investigation relative to the Elisa Lam matter. Between the 30th of January 2013 and the 19th of February 2013, I do not recall hearing the alarm for the 15th floor rooftop access door being activated at any time, and I was not called to turn off the alarm to the 15th floor rooftop access door at any time during that time frame. During my employment with the Cecil Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of unauthorised access to any of the rooftop water tanks by anyone, including hotel guests. During my employment at the Cecil Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of anyone, including hotel guests, being injured by or in any way of the rooftop water tanks. During my employment at the Cecil Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of anyone, including hotel guests, drowning in any of the rooftop water tanks. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct, and that this declaration was executed on this 25th day of February 2015 in Los Angeles, California, and signed by Santiago Lopez. I do have some comments to make on the content of this statement, but I think we should look at the other 2 statements before we make comment on the content. Now let's have a look at the statement from Pedro Tovar, the chief engineer. I've been employed at the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel for 30 years. I am presently the chief engineer and was the chief engineer during the January/February 2013 timeframe. The hotel is a 15-story building that is configured in an E-shaped pattern with 3 separate wings that are connected. Yes, you heard that right, an E-shape, as in Elisa. The roof of the hotel is a restricted area where hotel guests are not allowed. There are only 4 ways to gain roof access. 3 of the ways are exterior fire escapes on the sides of the hotel which run the entire height of the building. There are interior doors in the corridors of the hotel upon which access can be gained to the fire escapes. For safety reasons, these doors are kept unlocked. The 4th and final way to access the roof is through the interior staircase leading from the 14th floor to the roof. The rooftop access door is equipped with an electronic alarm system which alerts hotel employees when the roof access door has been opened. Whenever someone opens the door leading to the roof, it activates a very loud alarm which can be heard throughout the 14th and 15th floors and also rings separately at the front desk. The alarm can only be turned off with a key by the maintenance staff. I just want to point out there that point about the alarms and the rooftop access is pretty much similar in wording to Santiago Lopez's statement. Could that be because the same person wrote them? The rooftop of the hotel has 4 1,000-gallon water tanks which supply the hotel with water using a gravity-operated system. Water is pumped from a main water line at below street level to these 4 tanks. Each tank is approximately 10 feet high and 6 feet in diameter. The tanks are on a platform approximately 4 feet above the roof. To access the tanks, someone would have to climb a ladder up the platform and then squeeze through the tanks and the plumbing equipment to reach another ladder and climb up the side of a 10-foot tall tank. The tanks are fully covered, though each has a heavy metal lid that is approximately 18 inches by 18 inches. I am informed of all instances where the alarm to the rooftop access door is activated. Between January 28, 2013 through February 19, 2013, I am unaware of any instances where the rooftop access door alarm was activated. Between 28th of January through 19th of February, I am unaware of any maintenance workers being called to deactivate the rooftop access door alarm. I check the rooftop access door on a weekly basis to make sure the alarm is functioning properly. Between January the 28th through February the 19th, the alarm for the rooftop access door was in proper working order. I was aware that Ms. Lam was reported missing and assisted the Los Angeles Police Department and other investigators with their search of the hotel for Ms. Lam. I accompanied the LAPD and other investigators as they searched the entire hotel, floor by floor, with dogs. The investigators also searched the roof, but nobody climbed up the tanks or looked inside them. On February the 19th, a guest in room 320 complained of a lack of water pressure. A maintenance employee, Santiago Lopez, was sent to room 320 and confirmed the lack of water pressure. Sometime thereafter, Mr. Lopez contacted me via walkie-talkie to inform me that he had found a human body in one of the water tanks on the roof. We then went down to the office to advise Amy Price of my discovery and to notify the authorities. I think it's actually quite interesting that point is also pretty much word for word what Santiago Lopez has stated in his statement. However, that could be because these statements were taken for the civil case by Elisa's parents, and maybe the statements were written by the same lawyer at the same time. I think it's also interesting that he has used the wording to notify her of my discovery, not of Santiago's discovery. But again, this could be because the same person, the same lawyer, was preparing these statements for their civil case, in which case he's probably just copied and pasted some of the points in the statements. The videos you've just watched are of intruders to the hotel who have gained access to the roof uninterrupted and made videos and posted online. During my 30 years of employment at the Cecil Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of unauthorised access to any of the rooftop water tanks by anyone, including hotel guests. During the 30 years of my employment at the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of anyone, including hotel guests, being injured at or near the rooftop water tanks. During my 30 years of employment at the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel, other than the incident with Ms. Lam, I am unaware of any instances of anyone, including hotel guests, drowning in one of the rooftop water tanks. So again, Pedro Tovar's statement is pretty much word for word the same as Santiago Lopez's statement. Now let's have a look at the statement of Amy Price, the general manager. I've been employed with the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel continuously as a manager since November 2007. Elisa Lam was not, nor has she ever been, an employee of the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel. Since 2012, the hotel had hired a company called Employee Employer Assistant Programs Incorporated, EEAP, to perform quarterly health and safety compliance inspections of the hotel. The roof water tanks were never deemed a confined space nor a dangerous condition by EEAP. Based upon hotel records, Elisa Lam booked a shared dormitory room online for the hotel to arrive on 28th of January 2013 and a departure date of the 31st of January 2013. Based on hotel records, Ms. Lam checked into the hotel on January 28th, 2013 and was assigned a shared room 506B with other guests. Based on information and hotel records, the hotel received complaints from Ms. Lam's roommates regarding odd behaviour. Accordingly, Ms. Lam was moved to a private room on the same floor on the 31st of January 2013. What I really don't understand about this timeline is the general manager has confirmed here that Elisa checked in on the 28th of January for a 3-night stay to check out on the morning of the 31st of January. So the first night would have been the 28th, the second the 29th, the third the 30th, to check out the next morning on the 31st. So if Elisa was to check out on the morning of the 31st, why was she moved to another room on the 31st? She should have checked out that day. Why was she still in the hotel early hours of the 1st of February if she should have checked out the morning before? Nowhere does it say that she extended her stay. In early February, the LAPD investigated Ms. Lam's disappearance and thoroughly searched the entire hotel with canine units, floor by floor, including the hotel roof area. Unfortunately, Ms. Lam's body was not found by any of the investigators. On the 19th of February 2013, a hotel guest complained about the water pressure while taking a shower. A maintenance employee was sent to investigate the problem and eventually went to the roof of the hotel to check on the water system. Water from the hotel is pumped from a main water line at below street level to 4 holding tanks on the roof of the hotel. It is a gravity-operated system. Each tank is approximately 10 feet high and 6 feet in diameter. The 4 tanks sit on a platform on the northern border of the hotel and are difficult to access. The hotel roof is a restricted area that is off limits to hotel guests. It is not marked, nor is it indicated on any hotel marketing material as a common service area for guests. It is not represented to any guests as common service area, and it is not made available to guests upon request. There are only 4 ways to gain hotel roof access. 3 are by the exterior fire escapes on the side of the hotel. The 4th is through an interior staircase leading to the 15th floor to a locked and alarm door which opens onto the roof. All escape routes and the rooftop access door are clearly labelled that they are for emergency use only. If opened, this door activates a loud alarm which can be heard on the 14th and 15th floor, as well as a separate alarm which sounds at the front desk. The alarm can only be deactivated or turned off with a key that is maintained by the hotel maintenance staff. It is the hotel's policy that at any time the rooftop access door alarm is activated. An employee or security guard is immediately dispatched to manually check the roof area and the rooftop access door. The alarm for the hotel rooftop access door was not activated at any point in January or February 2013. I am unaware of how Ms. Lam reached the hotel rooftop water tanks. Based on information and belief, nobody observed Ms. Lam accessing the hotel roof, nonetheless the water tanks. I am unaware of any instances of hotel guests trespassing on the roof and accessing the water tanks. I am unaware of any instances of anyone, nonetheless hotel guests, being injured in or around the water tanks. I am unaware of any instances of anyone, nonetheless hotel guests, ever drowning in one of the rooftop water tanks. I am unaware of any instances of anyone, nonetheless hotel guests, getting trapped in one of the rooftop water tanks. I am unaware of the hotel ever receiving any citations regarding the rooftop water tanks. I am unaware of the hotel ever receiving any City of Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety citations regarding the rooftop water tanks. Since I have been employed at the hotel, it has passed all Los Angeles Fire Department Chief's regulation testing of fire protection equipment. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct, and that this declaration was executed on this 3rd day of March 2015 in Los Angeles, California, and signed Amy Price. So that was the statements given by the hotel employees for the civil case brought about by Elisa's parents. Next, let's look at the moving parties' undisputed material facts and supporting evidence. This is from the perspective of the hotel and most likely summarised by their lawyers. It's dated the 25th of September 2015. Number 1, the defendants operate a 600-room hotel in downtown Los Angeles called Stay on Main. This fact I don't dispute. The hotel is a 15-storey building that was originally constructed in 1920s. Also don't dispute. The hotel is configured in an E-shaped pattern with 3 separate wings that are connected. Not disputing that. The hotel roof is a restricted area that is off limits to hotel guests. I'm definitely disputing that, as we've just seen 2 videos of intruders, non-guests of the hotel, entering the hotel undisturbed, making their way to the roof, filming themselves on the roof, and giving themselves a little tour. It's definitely disputed. It is not marked nor indicated on any hotel marketing material as a common service area for guests. Well, I'm not disputing that, but you also don't stop people from getting up there. There are only 4 ways to gain roof access. Again, not disputed, but people can still get up there unchallenged. 3 of the ways are exterior fire escapes on the sides of the hotel which run the entire height of the building. Again, not disputed, but people can still get out there. The 4th and final means of roof access is through an interior staircase leading from the 14th floor to the roof. Not disputed. The rooftop access door is equipped with an electronic alarm system which alerts hotel employees when the rooftop access door has been opened. Again, we've just watched 2 people film themselves gaining access unchallenged, completely unchallenged. The electronic alarm is loud enough to be heard on the 14th and 15th floors, and there is a separate alarm which sounds at the front desk. Again, multiple people have made it to the roof undetected, unchallenged, and they're not even guests. The alarm can only be deactivated or turned off with a key that is maintained by the hotel maintenance staff. Not disputed, however, there's absolutely no proof that it even works or is turned on. In fact, there's quite a bit of proof online that it doesn't work and the alarms aren't turned on. It is the hotel's policy that any time the rooftop access door alarm is activated, an employee or security guard is immediately dispatched to manually check the roof area and the roof access door. I'm not buying it. Too much proof that this isn't the case. The alarm for the rooftop access door was not activated at any point in January or February 2013. Again, not buying it. A photographer, as we previously seen, had accessed the roof of his brother on the 9th of February. I'm not buying it. All fire escape routes and the rooftop access door are clearly labelled that they are for emergency use only. I agree, but they are easily accessible. The rooftop of the hotel has 4 1,000-gallon water tanks which supply the hotel with water using a gravity-operated system. Not disputed, I'm not an engineer. Water is pumped from a main water line below street level to these 4 tanks. Not disputed. Each tank is approximately 10 feet high and 6 feet in diameter. Not disputed. The tanks are in a difficult to access platform approximately 4 feet above the roof. Completely disputed. They are not at all hard to access. Multiple people have done this. Multiple people have put videos online. The tanks are fully covered with heavy metal lids that are approximately 18 inches by 18 inches. Kind of disputed, as Santiago Lopez has stated that when he found Elisa's body, the tanks were open. There's lots of pictures online of the tanks open. On or about January the 26th, 2013, Elisa made reservations on the internet for a shared room at Stay on Main for a 3-night stay, check-in on January 28th, 2013, and check-out on January 31st, 2013. It is believed that Elisa was travelling alone from Vancouver, Canada to Florida. It is further believed her trip began in San Diego and her eventual final destination was Santa Cruz. Disputed. If she checked in for a 3-night stay on the 28th to check out on the 31st, why was she given a different room after complaints on the 31st if she should have checked out that morning? Also, what were the complaints? Elisa Lam was not, nor has she ever been, an employee of the Cecil/Stay on Main Hotel. Not disputed. Elisa checked in to Stay on Main on January 28, 2013 and was assigned a shared room on the 5th floor, I believe 506B. Not disputed. However, 2 days into her stay, Elisa's roommates complained about a certain odd behaviour by Elisa and she was then moved to a private room on the 5th floor. Not disputed, but who were the roommates? What was the odd behaviour? What date did she move rooms? 2 days into the trip would have been the 30th, not the 31st, and she was due to check out the next day on the morning of the 31st. So why was she still in the hotel on the night of the 31st or the morning of the 1st of Feb? An extensive and exhaustive search of the entire hotel, including the roof, was performed by the LAPD over the course of multiple days starting on the February the 5th, 2013. If that were true, they would have looked in the water tank and they would have found her body. Particular attention was paid by the LAPD because it involved a foreign national. The LAPD set up a command post in the lobby of the hotel and organised numerous search teams who were paired with a hotel employee with a master key. Disputed, the guest that was there a week or so after Elisa went missing stated that he didn't see any police, any search teams, any cadaver dogs. He didn't see anything that was out of place. Plus, there are hundreds of missing internationals in the downtown LA area. Not buying it. The teams then searched every nook and cranny of the hotel, including the roof. Well, that's not true, is it? Completely disputed. If they searched every nook and cranny, including the roof, they would have found her body in the water tank. The LAPD did not approach or inspect the water tanks during their searches. They didn't search every single nook and cranny then, did they? The hotel roof access door was checked to make sure it was functioning. Not disputed if they checked it, but it definitely wasn't functioning, as we've seen lots of videos to prove otherwise. After the LAPD detective found nothing during their search, a second search of the entire hotel, including the roof, was conducted by numerous canine units. Disputed. Her body was apparently in the water tank for 2 weeks. I've had a little search online and there's actually been a few bodies found in water tanks over the last few years. One in particular, Rio Arriba, found in a water tank in Santa Fe, Mexico. The occupants were complaining of a smell for weeks and the tank was closed. This tank at the Cecil was open. So why didn't the dogs or LAPD smell the decomposing body when the tank lid was reportedly open? Santiago Lopez's words, open. We've seen pictures, they were open. Unfortunately, Elisa was not found during the LAPD searches. Really? Not disputed. On the 19th of February 2013, a hotel guest complained about the water pressure while taking a shower and also a strange odour. Not disputed, don't have enough evidence either way. At that point, maintenance employee Santiago Lopez went to the roof of the hotel to check on the water system. Mr. Lopez took one of the 2 elevators to the 15th floor, then proceeded up the stairway to the rooftop access door. He then deactivated the alarm on the door, entered the roof, and walked to the area where the water tanks for the hotel are located. I dispute that just because I know that it's not likely that the alarm was on, and it's not likely it's been on for a long time. Next, he climbed up the platform upon which the water tank sat and finally climbed up a ladder up onto the main water tank. Mr. Lopez noticed that the hatch to the main water tank was open and he looked inside. It was there he found Elisa's body floating in the tank. There's some dispute as to whether the water tanks were open or closed. I dispute that because I don't believe what he's saying, but I do believe that the tanks were open. After discovering the body, Mr. Lopez immediately contacted his supervisor, Pedro Tovar, by walkie-talkie. The 2 went down to the first floor office to advise Amy Price, the general manager, of the discovery and to notify the authorities. I'm not disputing it because I have no way of knowing if it's true or not. Elisa's body was extracted from the water tank by the Los Angeles Fire Department, who had to cut a hole in the bottom of the water tank. Not disputed, because at this point it doesn't really matter. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office investigated and determined that Elisa's death did not involve any foul play. Further, an autopsy was performed and the subsequent report identified the cause and manner of death as an accident drowning with bipolar disorder as a contributing but not related condition. Among Elisa's possessions found at the hotel were the prescription medications of 4 different medicines, and I can't pronounce any of them. Obviously disputed. How can they rule out foul play when they don't even know what happened? They don't know how she got there. They don't know who she was with. They have no idea if she climbed in the tank or if somebody put her in the tank. Where's the evidence? Where's the fingerprints? Where's the camera footage of the floors with the fire exits? Disputed. Foul play, definitely not ruled out. The LAPD eventually concluded their investigation of Elisa's death, but could not conclusively determine how she reached the roof or accessed the water tank. Exactly what I just said. So I guess I'm not disputing that, but show me the evidence. Defendants had no prior knowledge or observation of any prior instances of anyone being injured at or by the rooftop tanks before 19th of February 2013. Well, I dispute this. So this is coming from Tovar and Lopez's declarations and actually the general manager, Price, Amy Price. Hundreds of people have died in this hotel over the last 100 years. Hundreds of people have died. Hundreds of people have committed suicide. Hundreds of people have been murdered, found dead in hotel rooms under suspicious circumstances. hundreds and hundreds. A later episode that I'll be recording in a week or so will cover some of these, the more notorious murders and deaths surrounding the hotel. So to say that they have no prior knowledge of doesn't really mean a thing, because, you know, Tovar has been there 30 years. Okay, that's a long time. But what about the 70 years before that? I don't believe that this comment means anything at all. In fact, defendants had no prior knowledge of or observation of any instances of trespass or unauthorised access to the rooftop tanks before the 19th of February 2013. Well, obviously disputed, as there are dozens of videos online of people doing just this, absolutely unchallenged, and you have no knowledge of that either, so your knowledge doesn't mean a thing. In addition to there being no other instances of injury by means of unauthorised rooftop water tank access, defendants are unaware of any health and safety violations or citations regarding any of the rooftop water tanks. Disputed, as having no knowledge of, as we can see from the previous points, doesn't mean a single thing. Since at least 2010, the hotel has passed all Los Angeles Fire Department chief regulation testing of fire protection equipment, which includes the 3 exterior fire escapes. Well, I dispute that, because the tanks may have been closed on inspection day. Either way, if it was safe, a body wouldn't have been found in the tank. Aside from the instance with Elisa, the hotel has never had any other injuries to guests due to the rooftop water tanks, and there have been no citations by the City of Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety regarding the water tanks on the roof. Disputed, Price knows the circumstance of all deaths in this hotel over the last 100 years, does she? Between January 28th, 2013 and February 19th, 2013, the alarm to the rooftop access door was functioning properly. Disputed, I do not believe that. Multiple videos online of trespassers gaining access to the roof, unchallenged. Defendants were not aware of any circumstances between January 28th, 2013 and February 19th, 2013 where the rooftop access door alarm was unintentionally activated. Disputed, they wouldn't have been aware if somebody did try to get to the roof through the doorway, but also there are 3 other ways to get to the roof other than the door. Defendants never expressly or impliedly approved, authorised, consented, endorsed, invited or permitted guests or third parties to access the rooftop water tanks. Disputed, they may never have approved access, but they didn't stop it either. Defendants never advertised or marketed the roof, nonetheless the water tanks as places available for guests access. Well, that's just a ridiculous comment. They may never have marketed the access, but they didn't stop it either. And finally, despite the best efforts of investigators, there are no witnesses and no evidence to identify the exact means of when, why, or how Ms. Lam accessed the roof and water tanks. Well, this is ridiculous. What is on the 54 seconds, and where is the rest of the CCTV footage? There's cameras all over that hotel. There are probably in excess of 10 cameras on the outside of the hotel alone, and in the entrance there's probably 3 or 4 just in a short corridor just as you first enter the hotel. There are cameras all over this hotel. Where's the rest of the CCTV footage? Why was the only footage we saw was the footage that could be seen as bizarre behaviour for people who don't understand body language analysis or who haven't come across any of the websites analysing her behaviour? Ridiculous comment, not buying it. Show me the evidence, show the rest of the world the evidence. If you want to put out a crazy clip to make people ask questions, answer those questions when they ask those questions. So for one last time, let's have a look at Elisa smiling mischievously in the elevator. Don't forget this image. It's probably the most important aspect of this video. It proves she was not in fear. She was messing around with whoever was outside of the lift. Don't forget that. One more quick thing, this photo to me looks photoshopped. Elisa's right leg, or the left leg in the picture, the number on her leg just doesn't look right. She doesn't look right in the background. To me, this photo looks photoshopped. I'm not an expert, but I'd be very keen to hear anybody's opinions on this photo who has some knowledge of Photoshop and Photoshopping pictures. So at this point, probably only my anti-teen and crazy Av are still watching this. And if you are, thanks. If not, screw you. But if you are still watching, I thank you very much. And if you want to see the next episode in this series, please click subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate a thumbs up, as I'm not likely to get many views. Oh, feel sorry for me and give me a thumbs up. The next episode in this series, we will look at the autopsy and toxicology reports. I have asked an assistant coroner and a forensic pathologist to help me understand the story that the reports are telling. I look forward to sharing this information with you next time. Peace.